easy go.
What's going on, everyone? It's Saver Gaming. Today, the brand new North Star Operator gameplay and starter tips video just came out, and goes over a lot of the new things that you can expect to see in the North Star season coming out. The new operators, some of the new things that are going to be changed, some really weird stuff. I kind of wanted to give my opinion on it. And we'll kind of go through the video. I've already seen it, but for those of you who haven't and kind of just want to see a kind of like a thoughts video on it, this is for you. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to kind of play the video and pause it and go over things as they start.
North Star is the next season coming to Rainbow Six Siege, and it'll be bringing the Thunder. The Thunderbird, to be specific.
That's very funny.
She's the new operator who's dealing out some healing for the defenders, and potentially for the attackers.
So, right off the bat, first thing that gets brought up is the fact that the new Defender's gadget is used for the attackers and the defenders. I know that this is kind of pissing some people off, just because they don't like that for whatever reason. But overall, like, I can understand why. It's going to be very annoying for defenders when it starts like healing attackers. But at the same time, you got to think about the fact that if they didn't add this drawback to the new operator, we would really just have an OP Doc. You know what I mean? Like, it would be severely overpowered, because the guns are good in my opinion. I think they're one of the best gun sets for most of operators, definitely mid to high tier. So if they didn't have this drawback, then everyone would just play the new operator and not play Doc, and it would be helping the defense out a lot. Now, I know some people are going to argue with the other changes that are being made to the defense that they kind of needed that overpoweredness almost. But I feel like the big problem before this upcoming season is that defenders had so much utility that it rendered attackers useless. So overall, I think this is a good thing to have for the new operator. I think it keeps it pretty balanced. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions about all this new stuff coming out. So let's continue.
North Star is also delivering numerous game improvements, including some notable changes to barrel attachments, plus some balancing tweaks that will make some things easier to see and others much more difficult.
Yeah,
here's
that's
everything
a big
you need
one.
To know about North Star
And bullet holes,
casual
another big thing.
Of the favela map.
Favela's cool, okay? Don't get me wrong. Favela, sure, favela. But hear me out. Bartlett needs to get changed up and put back in. That's my map. It's my boy. Bartlett needs to come back.
Our new operator is Thunderbird, a speedy defender who hails from the Nakota nations of the northern prairies of North America.
She's got
Armed with the Spear 308 assault rifle outfitted with NATO sights, or the SPAS 15 shotgun as her primary, and a sidearm choice.
I like these guns. I think it's a good loadout.
She wields her formidable arsenal in conjunction with her choice of explosives. Impact grenades or a nitro.
I don't know how the impacts and C4 options going to go.
When it comes to her gadget, well, say hello to the Kona station. Once
I already gave my thoughts on this. It's pretty much just a better Doc, automated.
A tasty health nugget to the first operator who enters its radius. If multiple defenders are within range,
and I think overall, I think the utility is gonna.
The healing works like a shot.
I think it's going to work pretty well.
It will restore lost health and even overheal you, but any health
I think it gives a good percentage of health back.
Will appear as blue in your health bar and slowly dissipate over time. After dispensing a single dose, the station goes on cooldown until the next one is ready.
Cooldown, I think that makes sense. I don't know how exactly the cooldown's going to... As far as the time that it takes to cool down, I don't really know how well that's going to work, but we'll see when it comes out. And they'll probably tweak it, maybe. Who knows?
A charge is ready, and their patience could pay off. because a charged
And as we
Kona
said,
station
the
will
it
heal
can heal
anyone
attackers
who enters
too.
its radius, not just defenders. Using Thatcher's EMP to temporarily disable a Kona station rather than destroying it could earn an attacker a nice little health boost for a post-plant situation.
Now, so this part I didn't really understand. To me anyway, it kind of sounds like he's talking about if you use a Thatcher charge on it, does it only disable it for the defenders, or does it disable it for defenders and attackers, and the attacker will have to wait for it to come back online before they can get the health boost? That wasn't really made clear in the video. I'm sure it probably disables it for both, because it wouldn't make much sense to throw a Thatcher charge and disable it only for one. I feel like that would be a little just off, but that wasn't made very clear, but I guess we'll see when it comes out.
It behooves Thunderbird to keep tabs on her Kona Station situation. And there's one more thing. A Kona Station charge can be used
of course
by a down but not out operator to get themselves back on their feet. The DBNO operator will have to manually trigger the revive, but...
Now here's another thing. The fact that you have to manually trigger it. Now, I know some people might be like, okay, why the fuck do we have to do that? Here's why that's actually a good thing. If you are like literally right here and some enemy comes through the doorway and it revives you and you do the whole get up animation, right? That fucks you over because you didn't choose where you can get like brought up behind. So you're going to be like out in the open while you're getting revived, and that's going to put you in danger. However, if you can get behind cover and then activate it and still be close enough, but of course that's going to depend on placement. You can get behind cover and then activate it. That's going to help you out a lot more than if it just automatically was to revive you somewhere where you don't want to be. So I think that's a good implementation for the new op. Once again, might have some drawbacks, but overall I think that was a good choice.
But if used properly and with a little bit of luck, Kona stations can do wonders for defender survivability. Combine one with a deployable shield and Jaeger's ADS to create a tough defensive position. Or hide a couple in key positions around the map to make your roamers even harder to take down. Thunderbird brings a powerful loadout and an empowering gadget to the defending team, but Northstar has even more in store. An important update to barrel attachments will help you keep your recoil in check, so more of your bullets go where you want them to go. Compensators will now solely limit left and right movement, while flash hiders will dampen the weapon's vertical kick. Muzzle brakes will still recenter your shots more quickly, and overall, the goal is to help you better customize your loadout.
Okay, so this, I'm not sure if I'm for really or against. I don't think it's gonna be all that bad. I think it's gonna diversify how you have to approach different guns for different ops, which I think is good. Because obviously I feel like some of these attachments, like before, I feel like some of the attachments were too generalized for like the stats that they're changing for all the guns. So I feel like overall some guns were still suffering a lot, even though you had an attachment that was supposed to help with that. I think now, hopefully, it's going to change it to where you can add certain attachments to really combat more effectively, like the drawbacks of each gun. I hope it works as intended. I really hope it doesn't just like completely screw up the recoil and what everyone's used to, and we're all just like, we're all as players just bitching about it. I hope it works. I hope it's as good as I think it would be. We'll see. But overall, I think that's probably a good thing. Once again, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. But hopefully it's good.
If you're curious about the impact these changes will have, why not try out the Flash Hider on the P90 or the Bearing 9?
That'll be a good test.
Now, if that was you on the wrong end of that encounter, what you'd be seeing now is the new post-death sequence. First, you watch your body hit the ground and then disappear, to be replaced by a translucent operator icon. The better to commemorate your passing, while eliminating any issues with dead bodies appearing differently to different players.
Now, I don't really know why how the dead bodies appear would affect all that much. Like, I don't know why that would have been like a big problem. I mean, don't get me wrong, the new like symbol that appears on the floor, that's cool, I guess. I feel like it was possibly unnecessary. Um, but yeah, I don't know too much about that change.
Then you'd see the replay, which you can now skip. And finally,
okay, so he says that you can now skip replay. I was talking to a friend about this. He said that you could skip it beforehand. I personally, I just don't remember. Like, it's like as if now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember. But if it is the case that that's a new change, that's good. I don't remember being able to skip them. I might just be being dumb. But I think that's a good change because if you know, like right off the bat, where and how you died, then it's better to be able to just skip it and get to cams to start helping your team in a support role rather than having to sit through the replay and then go after it. Like, I feel like it might shorten the time a bit. So I do like that change if it was an actual change. If you could skip it before and I'm just being dumb, then oh well, just forget everything I just said.
You'd enter the support phase. Also on the North Star update list is a change to bullet holes.
Now, I know this is a huge change because I know bullet holes were pissing a lot of people off. Like, bullet holes could be extremely overpowered. Personally, I don't really know how I feel about this change because on one hand, I feel like bullet holes were still pretty manageable as long as you kind of had like quick reaction time. But I guess I can see how it's going to help the overall community. On paper, it seems like a good balance. But once again, this is just one of those things where we're going to have to see how it implements. I don't think it's going to change all that much. If you were relying on bullet holes to get all of your kills in the first place, then screw you. But I don't know. I think it's a good change. I'm still a little in between about it. I didn't really use bullet holes all that much, but then again, I didn't die by bullet holes all that much either. So, okay, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
A single solitary shot in a destructible surface will no longer make a hole you can see through. So you'll have to make something a bit bigger and potentially a bit more noticeable.
Once again, on paper, good balance, I think.
On to operator updates. Smoke's toxic gas has a new look and a new propagation
I like how it looks.
aimed at helping it spread more naturally and predictably and not through walls.
So, I do play Smoke. I play it a moderate amount. Personally, I'm okay with the fact that it doesn't go through walls. I mean, I'm pretty good with that. I think that the fact that it went through walls, as an attacker, thinking about it, I think the fact that it went through walls was a little annoying, maybe a little too hindering. But as a Smoke player, I don't think it's really going to affect anything that much either. Just because as long as you get it to where it needs to go and it spreads the same amount, it just doesn't go through walls. I think that's good. I think it'll be a fine change. I think that's a good one. Yeah, I'm not too mad about that. I think that was overall a good one.
Melusi's Banshee devices will cease to be bulletproof when they are active, letting attackers shoot them.
So this is another. They're making a lot of defender changes, which I know is going to piss a lot of people off. But I've said this. I don't know if I said this on video, but I've told some of my friends that I've talked to about this. I think the big problem with Siege that a lot of people were bringing up is that defenders have so many gadgets that attackers have to like deal with before they can actually push. I think the reason why they're putting all these defender changes in now is so that way they can balance it to where, yes, these defenders have this utility, but attackers also aren't getting just bent over because of how much they have to deal with before they can even push the site. That was definitely a problem that was happening in like Pro League, and I know this was kind of a problem that was happening for like mid to high tier players. I know some people are going to think that's really dumb. At least for me on paper, some of these changes make sense, but I can see how they might end up being a bigger pain than just having to be an attacker and dealing with it. This might completely flip it to where defenders' utility is destroyed too easy and now attackers have the big advantage. I don't know. It's something we'll have to see, but on paper, this makes sense. I'm not really mad about it, especially because these are affecting ops that I don't necessarily play, but I do have to play against. So overall, I think it's probably a good thing, but once again, we're just gonna have to wait and see.
To be rid of their infernal meddling.
Oh, and with the Banshee devices, I think being able to shoot these when they're active makes sense. So just because you see it across the room doesn't mean you can shoot it and destroy it. But when you're in it and you have to take a second to look around to find it and then shoot it, I think that is a good change. Because the fact that you would have had to have slowly walked towards it and then melee it to destroy it while it's active, I think that's too much. I think being a distraction for attackers and giving defenders the chance to draw their attention away and counter is a good thing, but I think also giving the attackers a chance to get out of it a little faster makes it more balanced. Some people might disagree with that. That's okay. Once again, leave your comments down below, and I'm sure we'll be happy to read them.
And a big one for Mira's Black Mirrors, Maestro's Evil Eyes, and Bulletproof
This is a huge change.
The glass on these gadgets can now be shattered by melee attacks.
This is probably the biggest change in the entire season, in my opinion. This is going to cause so many differences in how people play that it's almost crazy. Personally, I really don't know how I feel about it. It's a very big change. And really, I could see like for bulletproof cameras, I can see like that if they had just done that one, I would be like, okay, that makes complete sense. I don't think anyone should really have a problem with that. That's fine. But with Mira's and Evil Eyes, that is a very, very big change because it practically like it renders it useless after it happens. And because it's just a one-shot hit to shatter the glass, I just think that might be a little too much of a nerf. Now, I saw some comments on this video in particular when I first watched it, saying that it would make more sense to maybe make it multiple hits, like 2 or 3, because then that gives the defenders a chance to stop them from shattering the glass and taking away that intel. I feel like that would make sense, and then making like Sledge a one hit, maybe a grenade a one hit, like explosive stuff like that. That would make more sense. Especially because if you're gonna make it like just in a like reality like standpoint, if you were gonna go up and hit bulletproof glass and it just hit it with the butt of your gun and that shatters it, but the bullets won't, that's where it kind of just starts to not make sense. I think they'll probably end up changing this. I think this is going to be one of those things where people have a big enough problem with it that they do maybe change it to 1 or to 2 or 3 hits, and then the explosives. That would make sense. For now, I don't know how I really feel about it. For attackers, that's a good thing because obviously it can take away some intel. That's a big problem that attackers were having is defenders just having too much utility. This balances that in a sense. But I do think this hinders defenders a lot. And depending on how much it helps the attackers, this might be a very bad change. But on the other hand, as long as if it balances as intended, then I think it'll be an okay change. It might need to be tweaked just a little bit, but we'll have to see. I don't know. A lot of these changes were really our opinions can only go so far until we actually play it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Shattering won't remove the glass, but it will make the glass impossible to see through,
so, yeah,
severely limiting the device's utility. Want to play a few
and it might even make more sense to just shatter it
launches?
And still be able to see through it somewhat.
And play the PC test server starting on Tuesday, May 25th.
So yeah, Tuesday, May 25th. For those of you who play on the test server, you can go ahead and check some of these other changes out. But yeah, as I was saying though, it might also even make sense to make it to where when you shatter the glass, with only one hit, you can still see it hinders you some seeing through it, but like you can still use it to an extent. That might be even a change that would make more sense. So that way it's helping the attackers, but not necessarily screwing over the defenders as much. That might be even better change. Hopefully they take that into consideration, maybe if it's too much.
free to all players who own Siege on PC, and it's a great way to get a look at what's coming in Northstar and beyond. In fact, one of the biggest changes revealed during this year's Future of Siege panel is coming to the Northstar test server: gameplay after death. How do you like to check out the new streamlined armor system?
I'm curious to see what that means. The gameplay after death. I'm wondering if one of these changes will be because of what they're showing right now. I'm wondering if it'll be like things like drones and echoes and stuff like that. Like you can still use them even when you're dead. That's especially the echo drones. I think that's a change that I've been thinking that have been implemented for a long time. It kind of just doesn't make sense for when echo dies, the utility becomes pretty much useless. Now, there are some drawbacks with if that's what they're doing. Obviously, I think if everyone's dead and they're trying to defuse, you necessarily shouldn't be able to yokai the attacker from defusing the bomb. I think that might be a little too much, but at the same time, I feel like there should be some use to it, but some limitations, like maybe like you can only use it once or something like that. I don't know. Makes sense, but also needs to be heavily thought about on how they're going to do it.
Or try out the updated bulletproof cameras that can now look every which way.
I do like this.
And are armed with a recharging EMP blast.
Even the EMP I'm okay with.
Play the test server to see how these games...
I think the EMP is good. I think having a moderate recharge to it too, it makes it pretty balanced. The biggest thing is I'm just glad you can move the bulletproof camera around. I think the fact that it was stationary before was so frustrating. I like this change a lot. It's a very small thing, but it's one that it's one of my one of the changes I like the most through everything that's been said so far.
Game changing, still work in progress, new features are shaping up, and be sure to send the team your feedback. Let's round out our Northstar tour with a look at the new Favela map, a casual rework.
Yeah, and I like this rework. I haven't seen much of it. I like the fireworks.
It's nighttime. While the surrounding streets are a good place to practice your drone's footwork, you won't find a ground floor stairway leading into the building, and most of the exterior walls are no longer destructible, except for this one.
I do like that with Favela that they kind of changed it up a little bit. They made it probably a bit more defender friendly because I think the map as a whole was very attacker oriented. So I do think that, getting rid of a lot of the soft walls was smart. I think overall it's going to become a more viable map to maybe maybe even put into ranked. I don't know. We haven't played on it. But just the fact that now it feels more of like a normal map that you would play on and not just kind of like a slaughter fest for attackers to just come in and it'd be a huge gunfight. I think that's good. I don't know. We'll have to see if it does become viable enough to maybe see in ranked or see it outside of this casual gameplay. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be an interesting change, and it would definitely make up for the fact that we haven't seen a new map. Who knows? We'll see. I don't think it'll. We'll see. We'll see.
The roof still has 2 entries at the top of the red and yellow stairs, but the interior floor plan has been completely redesigned. The 2 main floors are much more interconnected, with a bevy of tight spaces that make for intense close quarters confrontations, depending on how...
I don't know what just happened there.
make for intense close quarters confrontations, depending on how renovation happy the defenders are.
I like that, though. I think that helps a lot.
All the tweaks and updates will be available free to all players when Northstar launches.
And I think that's
through the premium or news.u.
Really, the only other information that was said there is basically that the new operator will be available to purchase outside of the season pass 3 weeks after the new season starts. So those of you who want to get the operator immediately, you'll get the season pass. For those of you who don't want the season pass but do want the operator, you can purchase the operator 3 weeks after. So overall, I think there's a lot of significant changes. I know some things that people were mad about is that there's no new map. That is a little bit of a bummer. I feel like a new map definitely would have spiced things up and given the community a breath of fresh air. Some other things was just the whole defenders getting a huge nerf. On paper, I feel like this makes sense. I hope that this will give the game the balances that they needed for attackers. Once again, that's just something we'll have to see. I don't necessarily agree with them yet. Of course, that's not going to be something I can decide on until we play it. But yeah, I'm interested to hear y'all's thoughts below. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. I'm going to read through all of them. So just let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something. I hope y'all are looking forward to the new season as much as I am. So yeah, I'll see y'all out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share the video. Give it to your grandma. I don't know. But until next time, deuces. Tell me pretty lies. Look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.